king, Buma, Amma, are all dead and a missing child. The Police Investigation Department, PID, at this point were fed up with the death that occurred each time Kofi got close to unveiling the murder of King Gold. It was supposed to be just one murder case investigation, now it is 4. The deputy police officer, DPO, decided to take the case off Kofi's hands. He handed it to Detective Muna, a beautiful damsel with high intelligence. Tall, elegant, and smart. Muna sat all night looking at files and records of all the victims and their death unusual occurrences. She demanded she worked with Kofi, as Kofi knew all the nooks and cranny of the kingdoms of Kumuni. With a sigh of relief, Kofi gladly accepted to lead Muna even though he wasn't in charge of the case anymore. Kofi had always loved Muna but has not been able to tell her. This could be an opportunity for him to express his intentions towards her. Muna decided to speak with Ada, late Buma's friend. Ada told Muna the Buma had a man friend called Zege. She was also dating him. He is from Abomu Kingdom, the kingdom of the witches. Ada added that Buma once told her that Zege had the ability to teleport and control the mind. In fact, that was how he got Buma to become his date. He enchanted her to fall in love with him, and she fell for it. Muna got his address and prepared to visit Zege with Kofi. On reaching Abomu Kingdom, Zege welcomed them. He told them that he knew Buma was also dating the king. He was jealous and decided to read Buma's mind. The king had told Buma that he had a business deal with a man with the street name Dash. The amount of money involved was 3 trillion. But they were going to share the money in ratio of 70 to 30. 70 was for King and 30 for Dash. Zege added that Dash was only getting involved in the deal because he was going to take off every obstacle that tries to delay or hinder the arrival of the money. He asked Muna to find the street guy with the name Dash. Muna and Kofi left Zege's place. They returned to the headquarters. On their way back, they both wondered what business deal the king would have with the so-called street guy named Dash. That afternoon, Muna checked all criminal file in search of the name Dash. There was no lead. She called the headquarters and related the information. The DPO was shocked at that name. Muna asked the DPO not to tell anyone about Dash, as she will unravel the mystery behind Dash. So the information was between Muna, Kofi, Zege, and the DPO. Few days later, Zege noticed a man in a hood around his house. He quickly teleported and disappeared. He felt the killer was after him. Few days later, Muna visited Zege to ask how he could read minds and still teleport, and also some few questions she feel would help her in her investigation. Zege told her that he is from the Witch Kingdom and that the wizards and witches have mastered the act of teleportation, mind reading, and money making. He added that since they cannot operate openly as witches and wizards, they have to devise a means to survive by learning other skills like money making, teleporting, and mind reading. Muna was impressed. Muna is from the Athena Kingdom. She only knows how to make wealth. Although she was told some people could exhibit the gift of other kingdom, she never believed it. Now Zege just proved it, and this has helped her a lot. Muna asked Zege if there was how he could figure out who Dash is with his powers. Zege told her that he will give it a trial. He promised to call once he returns from their witch coven meeting. He told her he needs to fortify himself with his witchcraft power so that he will be able to fight the murderer who came visiting him the day they visited. Muna was shocked to hear that. He told Muna not to tell anyone she came visiting him, not even her partner. Muna agreed as she quickly left his house. On arriving the headquarters, Kofi told her he has been looking for her. He tried to know where she's been to, but Muna refused to talk about it. She only told him that Zege said a man in a hood came around his house. "What?" Kofi exclaimed. "That is our suspect. He didn't hurt him, right?" "No," Muna answered. "What else did he say?" Kofi asked further. "Nothing," Muna responded. Kofi knew she was halting some information. "Let me protect you, Muna. He always comes for witnesses or anyone who had information about him," Kofi said softly. "Why do you care?" Muna asked. "Because I love you," Kofi answered. "What?" Muna exclaimed surprisedly. Kofi told her he fell in love with her the moment she was posted to work with him. Although he had always loved her right from when they were recruited as defectives, but he did not know how to tell her. Kofi wanted to be close to her in order to know what was going on around her and also protect her. Muna's love life has been a mess. She broke up with her ex-boyfriend a few months ago. He cheated on her. After all she did for him, Muna literally went out of the way to make her man comfortable. Her ex-boyfriend Damien was jobless when Muna met him. He professed his love to her and she fell for it. She did everything for him, from housing him to getting him a job, and even gifting him a car. Damien feed like a king at Muna's house. When he was stable, he moved out of Muna's apartment. Thinking that he was getting ready to marry Muna, Damien introduced another girl as his fiancée to Muna. Muna was heartbroken. She cried uncontrollably. She lost everything once again. Losing out in a relationship has always been her luck. She has never been the lucky one. Now here is Kofi, the most handsome of all her colleagues. He is tall, dark, smart, and heavily built with six-packs. He is well known in the whole of KUMUNI world. Professionally, Kofi is doing well. What more can she ask for than a man like Kofi beside her? After all, she needs him seriously for this investigation to be successful. So, some kisses here and there during work and a little make-out after a stressful day is not a bad idea, she thought. "So what do you say?" Kofi asked. Muna walked up to Kofi and kissed him. "I have waited all my life for this moment." Kofi kissed her back. She grabbed Kofi's neck as if she wasn't letting go anytime soon. Kofi held close her waist as she jumped on Kofi. He wrapped her legs around his waist as they continued. Soon Kofi threw her to the couch in the office. It was just the both of them. And they made out. It was one moment Muna was not going to forget in a hurry. She has never been that carried away. Soon she realized her actions. For once she never blamed herself for doing what she did. She was happy. Kofi told her they could continue solving the investigation puzzle in his house. Muna immediately parked her work items and headed for Kofi's house. At Kofi's house, Muna unpacked her bag while Kofi made a sweet dinner for her. He prepared warm water to bath with while he eventually got into the bathroom to give her back a scrub. That was romantic. No one has ever treated Muna with such emotion. Muna fell deeply in love with Kofi. At this point she could do anything for Kofi. Kofi assured her not to worry about the case, for it will solve itself. Muna agreed. She now trusted him with all she had. She told Kofi she wasn't worried as Zege promised to help her. She told him that Zege was traveling to his witch kingdom for a coven meeting and that he was going to see who the killer is through their witch coven mirror. Really? Kofi asked. Yes, she answered. Both of them discussed for a while, then Muna remembered Zege told her not to mention his travel to anyone. She almost wanted to regret, but on a second thought, Kofi is now her man, so she discharged the thought. After all, they are fighting the same course. She slept off on Kofi's body in his bedroom. At the witch coven meeting, they started their meeting as usual with drinking substance from a bowl. It looked like blood. After which, they ate communion, which looked like flesh. Soon the leader of the witch kingdom, Wooly, appeared. She confessed her sadness over the way they are being treated as witches. She was sad. She asked all witches to stay on a like key and be cool-headed for the main time. She promised she was going to redeem them soon. All witches and wizards jubilated. The witches and wizards were asked to tender their problems one after the other for spiritual and magical solutions. They all brought their problems in different files, for this kind of meeting is held once in a year. Zege brought his own file. He made his wish. He told the Witch Lord that he wanted to know who the man in the hood that goes about killing people is. The Witch Lord did some magic, after which she told him that the man in the hood exhibit the powers of the witches, but he is not one of them. She cast a spell on the file and asked Zege to open the file. Immediately he teleported back to KUMUNI Kingdom. Immediately Zege turned to go back to his seat. He saw the man in the hood. He also came for the meeting. Zege was shocked. He heard everything Zege was asked to do. He did what he was asked to do. Immediately he crossed over, and he saw the face of the murderer. It was a known face. Zege was back from his witch coven meeting. On entering his house, there was a man in a hood. Zege did not know how he entered his house and boarded not to ask him. "What do you want from me?" Zege asked. The killer demanded to know what he told Muna. When Zege refused to talk, the killer tried to kill Zege. This led to a fight. The fourth until they were both tied. Soon Zege opened the mask on the killer face. He wasn't shocked at whose face he saw, for he had already seen the face at his witch coven mirror. The killer came for him because he knew Zege will definitely find out who he is from the witch coven mirror at the witch kingdom. While fighting him, Zege questioned his actions. Zege wanted to know why he went about killing people. He refused to speak to Zege, for he was bent at killing him. Since the killer mastered the act of teleportation and witchcraft, he knew what to do to eventually kill Zege. Finally he succeeded. He killed Zege. He made sure Zege was dead. He ran off. At the point where he ran so that no one would see him, he was severely injured on his right foot. He leaped away. Muna woke up in the early hours of the morning without Kofi by her side. She was worried. Soon Kofi came back. He told Muna that he went out for morning exercise. They both made sweet love that morning. She was totally blinded by love. In the early hours of that morning, a call came into Muna's phone. She was informed that they've been another dead incident at Abomu Kingdom. Muna and Kofi quickly rushed to the crime scene. It was Zege. He was dead. Muna was shocked. She was confused. She could not believe what she saw. Kofi held her. She remembered Zege asked her not to tell anyone about his travel for the coven meeting. She remembered she told only Kofi, the love of her life. Kofi was with her all through the night. Except when he went for his workout. Who would have done this? Did Kofi lie to her? Who is Kofi? Muna thought. Find out in the next episode. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.